Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Starlost
Ooh,
from the 1970s.
oh, that's a good one.
It's a fascinating story on screen.
Yes,
Basically, a generation ship.
it is.
A generation ship so massive, it houses entire civilizations.
Right.
Oblivious to the fact that they're hurtling through space on this forgotten mission.
Uh-huh.
Kind of makes you wonder, right? What happens to knowledge over time?
That is the question.
How easily could we lose sight of the bigger picture?
Yeah. That's what is so compelling about the show,
Yeah.
even with all the behind-the-scenes drama.
Oh, yeah. I hear there's some drama.
Oh, yeah.
I read a little bit about that.
A lot.
But yeah, it taps into that fear of societal amnesia.
Yes.
Like, if a society is isolated long enough, how do they even maintain their identity,
Right.
their history?
Their history, their
Yeah.
culture, all of that.
And the Starlost takes that idea, puts it on a spaceship,
Yeah.
the size of a city.
Yes, the Earthship arc.
Okay, so now we're talking
Uh-huh.
50 miles wide,
Mhm.
200 miles long. This makes the Starship Enterprise look like a dinghy.
It's pretty big.
Tell me more about this arc.
So it's not just big, it's
Okay.
a world unto itself, right?
Yeah.
Like the arc contains biospheres.
Okay.
These self-contained environments, each simulating a different Earth culture
Wow.
and ecosystem. So you've got this incredible diversity, but everyone is trapped in their own little bubble,
Uh-huh.
completely unaware of the true nature of their reality.
Right.
And then centuries ago, an accident knocked the arc off course,
Oh, wow.
further isolating these societies.
So that's where the lost part of Starlost comes in. They're not
Yeah.
just on a journey, they're adrift
Adrift.
without even knowing it.
Yeah, and they don't know it.
And somewhere in this massive world,
Yeah.
we meet our main character, Devin.
Yes.
Tell me about him.
So Devin lives in Cypress Corners, this community modeled after the Amish.
Really?
Yeah, simple living, strong faith, very much rooted in tradition.
Inside this giant spaceship.
Well, yeah, you've got that right.
Wow.
But Devin, he's a curious one.
Oh,
Always questioning, always searching for something more.
yeah, I feel like I know this type never quite fits in,
Right.
destined to shake things up. So what does Devin do?
The elders brand him a heretic and sentence him to death.
Jeez.
He only escapes with the help of his friend Garth
Okay.
and Rachel,
Oh.
a woman who shares his longing for something
Okay.
beyond their limited world.
Wow, classic hero's journey stuff.
Right.
But before we dive into Devin's adventures,
Yeah.
let's talk about the real-life drama
Oh, yeah.
behind the scenes. Because we've got Harlan Ellison,
Yes.
a legend in science fiction,
Huge name.
creating this show. But you mentioned he eventually wanted his name off of the project.
He did.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, part of the reason lies in this revolutionary special effects system
Okay.
called Magicam.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ellison, being a visionary, wanted to push boundaries.
Yeah.
He brought in Douglas Trumbull,
Wow.
the genius behind effects in 2001 and Close Encounters,
Oh, wow.
to develop this system.
Magicam sounds almost like something out of the show itself.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah. The idea was to blend live action with miniatures seamlessly.
Okay.
Imagine actors walking through these incredibly detailed sets
Yeah.
that were actually scaled down versions.
Wow.
All done in camera, no post-production trickery.
Wow.
Ambitious doesn't even begin to cover it.
So what went wrong? Why didn't it work?
It proved unreliable.
Oh,
The technology wasn't quite there yet.
yeah.
They had to resort to more traditional static blue screen effects,
Okay.
which was a huge blow to the show's visual potential,
Yeah.
especially given their limited studio space.
I can see why Ellison would be frustrated.
Yeah.
Talk about a creative gut punch.
Right. Was Magicam the only problem?
Unfortunately, no.
Oh, boy.
Budget cuts, a writer's strike,
Oh, no.
and creative clashes with the producers
Oh, geez.
added fuel to the fire.
Wow.
Ellison felt they were oversimplifying his complex ideas,
Yeah.
straying too far from his original vision.
Right.
It got to the point where he felt so betrayed.
That he invoked a clause to have his name removed from the credits
Wow.
using the pseudonym Cordwainer Bird instead.
Wow. Cordwainer Bird. It's almost like a character name from one of his stories.
It's very Ellison.
Yeah, a hidden signature.
Yeah, his way of saying, this isn't the show I envisioned.
Yeah, so despite all this turmoil, the Starlost did make it to air right.
It did.
Okay.
16 episodes aired.
Okay.
But as you might imagine, the final product
Yeah.
was far from what Ellison originally intended.
Right.
And the critics noticed
No.
it landed on some worst science fiction shows of all time lists.
Ouch, that's gotta sting.
Yeah.
Ouch, that's gotta sting. But sometimes Even shows that don't quite hit the mark can still spark interesting discussions.
I think so.
Like you mentioned, this show tackles themes like societal amnesia and technological dependence. So
Right.
how does that actually play out in this story?
Well, let's go back to Devin.
Okay.
He's escaped execution. He's got Rachel and Garth by his side,
Yeah.
and they're on a mission to save the Ark. But remember, this thing is massive.
Yeah.
Their journey takes them to the derelict bridge where they find the skeletal remains of the original crew.
Wow.
Talk about a heavy scene.
That's an image that sticks with you.
Yeah.
Like you're on this giant forgotten ship and you come face to face with the ghosts of the past.
Pretty much.
So what's their plan? How do they even begin to think about saving a civilization that doesn't even know it's in danger?
Well, their only hope is to reach the backup bridge,
Okay.
located at the opposite end of the Ark.
Opposite end of the arc.
So,
It's a long way.
yeah, that's not going to be an easy trip.
No, and remember,
Yeah.
this isn't just about navigating a physical space.
Right.
It's about navigating a maze of different cultures.
Oh, right.
Each biosphere they encounter is like a self-contained world
Yeah.
with its own unique set of customs, beliefs, and laws.
It's like they're not just traveling through space.
Right.
It's like a giant sociological experiment.
And didn't you mention that the Ark has a partially functioning computer system?
Yeah, it does.
Mu Lambda 165?
Yes.
Right.
That's the one voiced by the same actor who did the show's narration, William Osler.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Wow. So Mu Lambda 165 adds another layer to this whole theme of technological dependence.
Right. It's meant to guide and assist,
Right.
but it's often unreliable malfunctioning at crucial moments.
So it's not just a helpful AI.
Right.
It's a reflection of the dangers of putting too much faith in technology.
Exactly. The show plays with that in some really interesting ways.
Okay.
Sometimes Mu Lambda 165 provides cryptic clues.
Oh,
Other times, it's frustratingly vague.
wow.
It can be both a source of humor and a reminder that technology, even with the best intentions, can fail us.
So we've got this sprawling spaceship,
We do.
diverse cultures, a ticking clock, and a temperamental AI.
Yeah.
What's the overall vibe of the show?
I would say it's a blend of adventure, social commentary, and even a bit of philosophical pondering. Every episode throws new challenges at Devin, Rachel, and Garth,
Yeah.
forcing them to confront not just physical dangers, but also their own preconceived notions about the universe
Right.
and their place in it.
It's like that classic quote, space is the final frontier.
Yeah.
But in the Starlost, the real frontier seems to be human understanding.
That's a great way to put it, even though it was made in the 70s.
Yeah.
The Starlost touches on ideas that are still relevant today.
Right?
How do we preserve knowledge?
Yeah.
How do we adapt to change?
Mhm.
What does it mean to be human in a world that's constantly evolving?
It's amazing how science fiction can do that, take these big abstract ideas and make them personal, relatable.
Yeah.
But I have to ask, knowing what we know about all the production problems, it's even worth watching.
I think so, especially for those who enjoy digging for hidden gems.
Okay.
The show's premise alone is worth the price of admission.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe you'll find yourself connecting with the characters, rooting for them as they journey across this incredible forgotten world.
It's like that saying, one person's trash is another person's treasure.
Right.
You might have to sift through some rough patches,
You might.
but there could be some real treasures hidden within the Starlost.
Absolutely.
And speaking of treasures, didn't you mention that there's also a novelization?
There is.
Yeah.
Edward Bryant wrote Phoenix Without Ashes, which expands on the world of the Starlost.
Oh, okay.
It's a chance to experience the story in a different medium with more depth and detail than this show could provide.
So if the TV show is like a rough draft,
Okay.
the novel is like the polished final version.
Well, it's a bit more nuanced than that.
Okay.
The novel stays true to the core concepts,
Yeah.
but it also gives Ellison a platform to explore some of his ideas that didn't make it into the show. It's almost like an alternate version of the Starlost.
Wow.
A glimpse into what might have been
Yeah.
if the production hadn't gone off the rails.
So we've got the show, we've got the book, but wait, there's more.
There is.
Didn't you mention something about a comic book adaptation too?
Oh, yeah. IDW Publishing did their take on the Starlost
Okay.
a while back.
So for someone who's never seen the Starlost,
Huh.
but is intrigued by what they've heard so far,
Yeah.
where should they start their journey?
That's a good question. It really depends on what you're looking for.
Okay.
The show is a time capsule.
Yeah.
Flawed, but fascinating.
Right.
The novel offers a much deeper dive into the ideas behind the show.
Okay.
And the comic book provides a more modern visual interpretation.
So it's like you've got these 3 different lenses
Yeah.
to view this world through.
Exactly. Pick your poison.
Yeah, no matter what path you choose, you're in for a thought-provoking
Be
experience.
similar.
But I have to ask, what's the legacy of the Starlost? Is it just a footnote in science fiction history?
Well,
Or does it have a lasting impact?
it's definitely gained a cult following over the years.
Okay.
People are drawn to its ambition,
Right.
its willingness to tackle these complex themes, even if the execution wasn't always perfect.
Right.
And it's inspired countless discussions about the dangers of societal amnesia, the role of technology in our lives,
Yeah.
and the importance of questioning the world around us.
So it's like, even though the ship was lost, the message still managed to reach its destination.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes the Starlost so fascinating.
Yeah.
It's a story about finding meaning and purpose, even in the midst of all this chaos and uncertainty.
Right.
Something that resonates with people no matter what decade it is.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a little inspired right now. Maybe it's time to dust off my old science fiction collection and revisit some of those classic stories.
Yeah, there you go.
Who knows what forgotten gems we might rediscover.
Even in the stories we thought we knew.
We hope you enjoy the journey.
I hope so.
And remember, this is just the beginning.
It is.
There's a whole universe of stories out there
There is.
waiting to be explored. And until next time, happy exploring.